Coming off the last chapter where the fight between Tatsumaki and Saitama interfered with Feather versus a bunch of gang members, and also Metal Bat versus a dragon level monster, then they pierced through buildings, and that brings us to the new chapter 181. So it appears that Maimas could see what's happening. Remember that he was told by Genos about Saitama on what he did during the battle versus Garo, and he seemed to take it seriously and considers him to be a prospect of the ideal hero. And the fact that he sees with his own eyes that Saitama could go toe-to-toe against Tatsumaki only validates his curiosity about Saitama, and we'll see what he's gonna do about that in the near future. So moving on, Saitama complains that they've gotten too far and they should go back, and Tatsumaki says fine, and then they face off each other, but they're not just gonna do it normally to get to the original spot. Instead, Tatsumaki grabs Saitama's head and drags it on the ground as if it works like a wheel. And then Saitama is like, "Hey, isn't this bad for my scalp?" As Tatsumaki is sensing another presence who's chasing them at full speed, and it is none other than Speedo Sonic. It only took him like 5 years to reappear in the series. The last time we saw him was when he got diarrhea after consuming the monster cell by making it into a fine dining dish. But I'm glad he's back, plus he also got his hair back. So anyway, he launches his attack without thinking or knowing that Tatsumaki could easily counter that shuriken attack. And it's probably because he doesn't know who Tatsumaki is. And then he dodges all of his own shurikens. Well, not all of them, because he steps his foot on a dog poop and loses his balance, and the remaining shurikens hit him while he slips. Classic Sonic. Well, on a side note, I know this one is a gag scene, but it somehow confirms that Sonic is nowhere near Tatsumaki in terms of power level, and we don't really see any significant growth of him after all these years. And I would like to think that he's still somewhere around Genos' power level, because that was the last valid thing that we've seen so far. But yeah, can't wait to see him in action again. So they finally get back to the original spot. Saitama tells her to start rampaging again, and Tatsumaki, who initially started this fight only to test Saitama, hesitates to use her full power. But then Saitama cuts her off like, "Sure, go all out." And we can see yet another first time expression of her. It's like this is the first time for her to get told by her opponent to go all out, and that brings a whole new sensation that she never felt before. And back to the containment room. Some of Fubuki group members are complaining on how Fubuki handled the situation by disbanding the group. It looks like most of them decide to quit, but Aileshi says he's going after Fubuki instead of quitting, and it seems that there are 11 of them who stay in the group. And then Fubuki, who's already on the outside, sees the impact of that fight, and they pass through over Fubuki's head. But then there is King, who initially wanted to come over and play with Saitama, gets stuck in front of Saitama's room. And the funny thing is, he complains about Saitama's never appearing when he's endangered. And that's kind of ironic because King isn't King if it's not because of Saitama. But that's just King. He likes to complain a lot. And right after he said that, Saitama appears in front of him, and when Saitama sees that King brings a city game, he refuses to play with King and says that he's dealing with this pipsqueak called Tatsumaki or something. And Tatsumaki hears that and lands on the wall of that building, and when she lands, King sees her panties and they fly somewhere else. And afterwards, King tells himself like, "I saw her panties," as he makes serious face and King Engine roaring, and it ends there. I think the next chapter will conclude the fight, so comment down below if you have anything to say about this chapter or the possibilities of future chapters. And I'll see you next time. Peace.